Ed Harris is here. He is one of those actors to which people always attach the same adjective. He is intense, emotional, sensitive, sexy, American cowboys. Right now, he is starring in Sam Shepard's Simpatico at the Public Theater. He has known and worked with Sam Shepard since the early 80s, and most notably on Fool for Love, for which Harris won an Obie in 1982. Shepard and Harris also worked together on The Right Stuff. Harris played John Glen, and Shepard played Chuck Yeager. Other film credits for Harris include Sweet Dreams, 1985 with Jessica Lange, The Abyss, 1989, directed by James Cameron, Glengarry, Glen Ross, written by David Mamet in 1992, and The Firm in 1993, written by John Grisham. And I'm very pleased to have him here. Welcome.
Thanks.
Great to have you.
Nice to be here, Charlie.
Did I miss something important in that list of credits?
Oh, no, there's a lot of films that a lot of people haven't seen that I'm proud of. But
like what?
Oh, A Flash of Green, a little film made in 1983 down in Florida, based on a John D. McDonald book.
What happened to it? It just didn't get any attention, or?
No, it wasn't distributed very well. You know what I mean? When you scrape together X amount of dollars to make a movie, doesn't mean you have any money left to
market it and promote it and do all those things that get attention. Yeah. What's your best performance in your judgment?
That's one of them.
Really?
Flash of Green. I felt real good about Jacknife, a picture I made with De Niro that was based on a play called Strange Snow. I felt good about The Right Stuff. Most everything I've done I felt okay about.
You wouldn't take any of them back?
There are a couple, but they weren't on that list, so we don't even need to mention those.
No need to mention those. How does it feel to be back in Shepard's words?
It's great. I'm enjoying it. I have a show tonight. I'm really having a good time. Yeah, I think Sam hasn't written a full-length play since, I think, 85, 86, which was Lie of the Mind. And this is a little bit of a departure for him, I think.
Why is that?
Well, it's kind of out of the family. And most of his plays have been woven in and out of a family structure, or lack thereof. And
this is about two friends.
Two friends who haven't seen each other in a while, who are involved in
who didn't leave under good circumstances.
No, not really.
And your character took his girlfriend with him.
Yeah, took his Buick and his girlfriend.
His Buick and his girlfriend, and headed for Kentucky.
That's right.
Shepard, is he different now in terms of, because he gets enormous attention and he's mysterious as well, and he's in his own way a kind of cowboy sex. There is this mystery and mystique, and he doesn't do a lot of public either interviews or appearances, and at the same time, he has, since you last worked with him, he's acted a lot. Does that make him a different director? I
think that's helped his directing, actually, in terms of his language with actors, the way he expresses what he wants. Sam's a wonderful director, actually, and he's a total theater person. I mean, he's very involved in the design of the set, the lighting, the music, in all aspects, the wardrobe, the color of the clothes, the pillow that's on the couch. I mean, it's all got to be right. But
does
in terms of his acting, though, I think it really has helped him.
Yeah. And can he communicate better about what he wants because he's been in your place?
Well, the only other time I worked with him was on Fool for Love, which was 10 years ago, which was really just Kathy Baker and I bouncing off the walls in this motel room, and he really kind of let us go. And this is structured much differently. There's really never more than 2 people on stage at a time. There's a series of 7 scenes. And so he had to work very intimately with everybody. But the one thing I love about Sam is that he really wants you to trust his words and let them define what you're doing. Let them define even the emotional capacity of the character, because you get it. If you come in with a preconceived notion and you're locked. He's very much for spontaneity and creating on the spot, more or less, especially during the rehearsal process.
Meaning, if you come in with a notion of who Carter is and what he's like, and he wants you not to do that. He wants you to find Carter through the words he's written?
Much, I would say that, yeah. Much more so than me coming in with an idea of who this guy is. Not that I'm not doing my own work or my own homework, but the actual act of rehearsing, if I'm working in a scene with you, the actual moment of saying a line to you, that I'm trying to communicate something to you. I don't know how I'm going to say that. I don't know how you're going to respond. I don't know how I'm going to respond to your response. But having that be alive, and not just to find something to set it, but to have it be alive all the time. And his language kind of demands that, and that's one of the things that's really fun about it as an actor.
Do you find that often in scripts?
No.
The answer took less time than the question.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Why?
Well,
Too many hands get involved?
But, well, film is much different.
Yeah, okay, but in plays?
Well, I haven't been doing that much theater over the past few years, but stage much more likely to get material that's fulfilling, and the characters are fleshed out. I mean, you're doing a play. It's words. It's based on words. Granted, there's movement and there's your whole body you can work with, but it's about words. That's what the play is. Film is much more visual and much more in the hands of directors and editors and producers and people in high towers making creative decisions that don't know what they're talking about. Sometimes.
At each stage of the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you obviously prefer stage. That's where your home is.
I grew up as an actor on the stage in terms of learning about the craft and the art of it, I guess, if you want to call it that. But I like doing both. I enjoy doing both. And I got to make a film once in a while, or I'm going to have to sell the house, you know.
Where is home?
I live out in California.
Yeah.
I grew up in New Jersey, but I've been in California since '75.
How'd you get into acting?
Well, I was a high school football player and baseball player, and I actually went to Columbia University for a year, which is not the epitome of college football by any means. But
Not a powerhouse.
they did all right this year. But
What, in the Ivy League?
I realized that I wasn't going to, that I had gone as far as I could with sports, and I was 5'9", not particularly fast, although I loved to run with the ball. And my folks had moved back out to Oklahoma, and I saw some summer theater out there one year, and it just looked like fun. It looked like maybe I could do that. I mean, it was the closest I could think to scoring a touchdown and having people cheer was to do a play and have people applaud at the end of it. I mean, that was the initial need.
It's that sense of immediate feedback.
Yeah.
Instant gratification.
And it's grown, of course, since then. That was in 1971 that kind of made that choice or to learn about acting.
How did you go about learning?
I got involved in the same summer theater, actually, after my sophomore year at Columbia in Oklahoma, and played a mariner in The Tempest and a Mexican in Night of the Iguana. And, I didn't know what I was doing. Had a good time, and then I studied that year. Had a great teacher.
Who was that?
His name was Bob Greenwood, not known for, he just taught there for a few years. And took advanced and beginning classes from him, and then he got fired, and I went on and did some community theater in Oklahoma City, and then I ended up going to school out west in CalArts.
What was a big break for you?
I don't really know if there's been one.
You're still looking, are we?
Well, I think The Right Stuff probably, at least in terms of the Hollywood and movie industry, put me on the map more than I had been.
I mean, after that, you pretty much had an opportunity to work as much as you've wanted to, haven't you?
Yeah, I haven't suffered for work. At times I've been more angst-ridden than I am now about certain opportunities that I wasn't getting, But things are going fine.
You're less angst-ridden because you've changed in terms of what you want out of this thing, or because you realize
I think just growing up within myself and realizing the truth of the matter. I'm an actor. I'm a working actor. I do the best things I can out there. I've got certain things of my own that I'm trying to get going, that I can't leave it up to other people to determine all the characters I'm going to play in my life. If there's certain things I want to do, I'm going to have to get after them myself.
In other words, you have to form your own production company, or you have to...
or buy the rights to a book and get a script written, like, unfortunately too many people are trying to do, but You know, I think if you care enough about something, you find a particular subject matter that you're passionate enough about.
Well, Jackson Pollock, didn't you buy the rights to a Jackson Pollock biography?
I didn't buy the rights, but I'm in partnership with a guy who did, James Trezor.
Because you want, what?
I think we could make a great film out of his life, out of his work. He was an amazing artist and led an incredibly difficult life. And I just think it could lend itself to the cinema. I also think it would be great experience to play, to get into this guy. I think it would be very demanding.
Do you paint?
A little bit. I'll paint a lot more when we get a production deal set up.
Let me come back to Sam Shepard and Simpatico. Tell me about Carter and who is this guy and what's interesting about him and what's he going through that speaks to all of us?
Well, he was involved in a racing scam 15 years prior to the play taking place, and as a result of that scam and how they got out of it, and they essentially blackmailed the racing commissioner so that they wouldn't get caught, him and his buddy.
Played by Fred Ward.
Played by Fred Ward. The racing commissioner was played by Jimmy Gammon. He was really great in it. He takes off with his buddy's wife, ends up in Kentucky with the money he's made off this scam. He starts his own breeding business, thoroughbred, gets a few race horses, and is now a very, very successful person. All based pretty much on a lie. And he's living a life that is basically a lie. He's tried to put the past behind him, trying to ignore it, basically. But he's got this friend in his life who has some photographs that were part of this blackmail scheme that he can't let go of. He can't forget about this guy. Anyway, he comes back to visit Vinny, and
he's been supporting him in part.
Yeah. And each scene that Carter's in, he starts unraveling a little bit more. I mean, he thinks he's coming out here to fix this up. He's going to get right back home, and it's just not working that way. And he kind of gets spiraled down into a place where he realizes he's really, if you strip away all his wealth and possessions and his ideas of himself, he's really got absolutely nothing. And he's pretty much left a kind of a quivering mass of jelly by the end of the play. And it's basically, I think...
In fact, crying under a borrowed blanket, huh? A shiver.
Yeah, he's not having a real good time.
But that brings...
But what does this say to people? I don't know.
What does it say to you?
Well, what it says to me, that first of all, you have to be responsible for your actions. I was having lunch with a buddy of mine today, and he's a follower of Sai Baba, who's an Indian healer, avatar, I guess you would call it. And I'm trying to remember what he told me, but it had something to do with how do you get spiritually awakened, or how do you live a life, whatever, that's fulfilling, that's meaningful? How do you get beyond all the stuff that we feel we're carrying around all the time? And there's one word that he said was obey. And Michael said to me, he said, what do you think he was talking about? And I said, a conscience, obviously. Yeah. And his point was that if you really follow what you believe in, then you as an entity, as a human being, probably feel pretty good about that. But it's not that simple to do. And all of our consciences, I'm sure, are different. But Carter, at least, he hasn't been dealing with his conscience. See, he's been like this. He's not looking at anything. And
he's been making money and
he refuses
engaged in the life that's catapulted him to.
Yeah, and really not taking any responsibility for the fact that his wife's unhappy, his buddy's on a dole. It's all somebody else's fault. I mean, he doesn't ever really admit in the play that he's done anything wrong.
Yeah. Does that bother you that you leave the play not knowing?
Yeah. Well, I asked Sam. I said, "Come on, man, you got to give this guy a break. Isn't there some place in the last scene at least where he confesses or admits something wrong and can get through this?" And Sam says, "No, I'm sorry, I can't let this guy off the hook."
Yeah. He never comes to grips with. I mean, I would assume that recognition
I think he does.
Might be the first step.
I think
mean,
by
do we
the
give him
end
that?
of the play, he does recognize that something has happened to him.
Yeah.
And that he's gone through something, and that he's now a raw nerve. Where he's going to go from this place in time, I'm not sure. But I don't think he's going to repeat the same mistakes.
But Sam wouldn't let you go. I mean, you can't even...
There's no catharsis in that sense. You know what I mean? There's no healing, getting through it. There's bringing him to a point where maybe he recognizes it. Yeah. But it doesn't go any further than that.
And so that's where we leave him.
Yeah. So I'm not quite sure what the audience is left with. I think it's probably different night to night and different for everybody out there.
Now, if we took this to Hollywood...
Yeah.
Some executive is going to say to you, or say to Sam, this is not a good ending.
Oh, no.
This is not a good ending.
Not a Hollywood ending.
You know, I mean, we can't leave this ambivalence about this guy, can we?
Well, you know, the ending is basically, and Sam said this to me, he said, the ending is you're kneeling on this stage in your underwear with a blanket wrapped around you. Yeah. And the audience has just watched this 3-hour play, and they're sitting out in the audience, and you're looking at them, and that's basically it. I mean, and what that says, what that question is, it's basically we're here. Here we are. What do we do about it?
What do you draw on your own life experiences when you sort of play this, or do you just let these words?
Well, you can't help but.
I mean, you find anything in Carter
I try to be open to
that...
all the deep, dark places in me that, you know, that can bring up, you know, all the things that I'm hiding or trying not to deal with. You know, you try to open yourself up to some of those things, and that way it's kind of a good process, you know, as a person to be working on something like this.
What is it about acting that you know, that's most satisfying for you?
I think it's just that you've got to stay open as a person to play as many different kind of characters as you can, and it demands the openness, and particularly on stage, you know, there's something about just being there and saying to the audience or to yourself, my feet are on the ground, I'm standing here, I'm breathing the air in this room, I'm not pretending I'm pretending I'm in Cucamonga, California, but, you know, half of my brain is very, very much aware that I am here right now, and I don't want to lie to you. I'll do my best job not to lie playing this guy.
And make it as authentic as I possibly can.
Yeah, man, yeah.
When... Does Shepard, because he wrote the play, because it's his words and he's directing it, I mean, did he change anything during the rehearsal?
Yeah,
during the process in which he's willing to say, well, maybe, yes, okay.
Yeah, changed a few lines here and there, cut some stuff. And he had worked on it. We were initially going to do this last fall, kind of on Broadway or...
And sort of lost some of the financing or
Some
something.
of the money fell out, and so during that time he worked a little bit on it. He tried to define a little bit more what happens. There are a lot of questions. Everyone has it's kind of a Rashomon kind of thing, because all the characters have their own point of view about what happened. Beverly D'Angelo plays the wife, and she has her own story about what went down.
You also have worked in Glengarry, Glen Ross with David Mamet's words. How are they different as playwrights?
Boy, that's a good question. I think they're well, this is kind of a cop-out, but I think they're different because they're two different guys. They come from different backgrounds, and they have different ways of telling a story. As Sam doesn't write in a lot of the Mamet is very, very, very stark, very brief, very boom, 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 boom. I think that Sam's a little more poetic in some way. I don't know if that's a good word, but he's more Western. Yeah. I think Sam's a little more...
And David shaped by Chicago and living in New England?
Perhaps a little more urban. I think they're both great. It's a really good question. I'm sorry I'm not more articulate in answering it.
Yeah, but they both can give you words that you like to.
Oh yeah.
You like to massage and play with.
Definitely.
Yeah. The character in The Firm.
Yeah.
Did you like that? I mean, was that a good role for you, or was that just a payday? I mean, it's...
Well, I try not to make anything just to pay.
Well, you know what I mean. I don't mean just a payday,
yeah.
but I mean, you come and you are a professional, and you know, you don't give me your best shot.
There wasn't anything that fascinating about that guy to me to play. To tell you the truth.
So, what's your job then? I mean, what is the actor's job there? Just going to give him?
Well, my job is to find out who this guy is and to play the scenes as well as possible. Get to the bottom of the text and what's really going on here. It was pretty straightforward, and basically have some fun. You know, have to relax and have fun, and it's an entertaining movie. It's not supposed to be anything other than
and nice locations too.
Yeah. Memphis is a nice city.
Memphis, and but I don't know whether I forgot you weren't down at the Cayman
I didn't go
to the Cayman Islands, did you? There is this about you that everybody talks about. It is looking for the moment where you can let go. You know, whether it's screaming or, I mean, it is just go with an emotional range that bursts through the ceiling.
Yeah, I probably am doing that a little bit more than I need to in this play, but I can't help myself.
Why not? Why?
Well, maybe not more. Carter really unravels, so there's a lot of room to kind of go with him. And he starts drinking whiskey halfway through the play, you know, and gets a little nutty, and has a lot of pressure on him, and he's kind of imploding at the same time that he's unraveling. But I just find that it's good, it's healthy, you know, it purges you, you know, to really break down or to really scream or to really get angry. I mean, a lot of us have a lot of anger in us.
It's cathartic and therapeutic
a lot of people don't have any way to get rid of anger.
All the demons.
They hit their kids or their dogs or something. You know, I can
just go on stage.
Yeah, kick something on stage or yell and scream, or and even off stage, if I'm home and I get upset, you know, I just go outside and scream as loud as I can for a while.
Where do you live?
Live up the coastal ways in California. You know, or howl with the coyotes or something, you know.
Yeah. Looking at other roles, Glengarry, Glen Ross.
Yeah, that was fun.
You liked that character? I mean, was that one you
I felt I understood Moss, you know. He was having a pretty hard time himself. The best thing about that experience was working with Alan Arkin, because he was a real joy. We really had fun together. He's a very funny man and very smart and really kind, you know. We really had a good time because most of my stuff was with him.
What directors have made the most difference for you in terms of taught you something or have helped you in a significant way?
That's a real good question. I would like to be directed more period. A lot of film directors don't really work with you that much specifically as an actor.
What do they do?
They tell you how they want the scene played and where, and they turn the camera on. That's not entirely fair. What I meant to say was more like an acting coach. I mean, there are things I think I'd still like to learn. I don't know, and a lot of directors don't. They either don't have the knowledge, or else they don't have the courage to really, you know, go in there. Because a lot of actors that play in movies, they don't really have a language of acting. It's louder or softer or angrier or, you know. And,
I'm smiling only because I've had people say, they'll talk about directors coming up to them and just sort of, as if they were saying something significant, say, louder, louder, and then just leave, you know, and come back.
David Jones, who's an English director, I really think he works a lot on stage, and I like to work with him on Jacknife. But then I've worked with Louis Malle, Philip Kaufman, a lot of people. Bob Benton is a real good director.
Philip Kaufman did Right Stuff. Yeah.
Carol Rice, who directed Sweet Dreams, was good. But I don't know in terms of really teaching me.
How about James Cameron? I mean, there's an
James is much more of a technical director, you know.
The Abyss, you told me, there's about, in the Laserdisc version, there's about 20 minutes that's added to it.
Yeah. Kind of helps explain why these watery butterfly people are down there.
So it's a better movie because of what was added. So they probably cut it for time rather than...
No, he didn't actually cut it for time. I think he cut it because initially because he didn't feel that this ending worked.
Yeah.
But then, in hindsight, I think he figured it worked better than what he had initially done.
Do most movies you do
Yeah.
After you have done them and you're out of there, you're on to the next project, and then you get to see the finished product. Is it, in most cases, what you thought it was going to be?
No. In some cases, it's really disappointing.
Yeah.
Horrifyingly so. But in most cases, I mean, recently, you know, if I play a guy in The Firm, for instance, or this thing I did in Just Cause, which is coming out in February, with Sean Connery, which is not a lead role. It's, you know, you come in once in a while and you're working with the lead actor. You know they can't cut the scene out because it's pivotal in terms of the storytelling. So, and you know, and they want, the audience is tired of seeing Cruise by then anyway, so they'll put the camera on me for a while. So, you know, I wasn't, those kind of situations, it's never too shocking. But if you're in a film where you're supposedly somewhat the main character, and you've shot a lot of film, and their decisions have been made in terms of editing and what's in and what's out, I've been appalled at some of the choices that some directors or editors or producers have made in terms of cutting films. It just shocks me. It's like, what is this? What is that? What is that? This means nothing. This story is about nothing. Why don't you at least try to tell a story here? Or get into the character a little bit. I mean, what did we spend 12 weeks doing?
Then do you ever go to them or call them or write them and say, what happened?
I'll put my 2 cents worth.
And what do they say? I mean,
they'll explain it away. Or,
no way they say, this is
I mean,
what
the only
thought.
time I ever was effectively worked on the editing process was in Flash of Green. It was by Victor Nunez, who's a wonderful filmmaker down in Florida, and I was down there, and I sat with him at the editing table, a flatbed, and we actually went through a lot of the scenes, and I actually made suggestions that he listened to. It was really fun. One of these days I'll direct the film, but probably not for a while.
Who has a career you'd wish you had? De Niro?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think the association between De Niro and Scorsese is a real special one. I'd love to have that kind of relationship
To find somebody that's given you...
Yeah, to have a director like that wanted to work with me that way, and vice versa, and who was as great as Martin is, you know. But if that association was going to happen, it would have started 10 years ago, I'm afraid. But I respect De Niro a lot, and Al also, Pacino.
Are they the two best American actors, in your judgment, working today?
Other than myself?
Yeah, of course, other than yourself.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think it's such a project-to-project thing. You know, I can't make judgments like that. You know,
film more than.
Yeah, I can't make that determination. I mean, I've never seen anybody fulfill a character better than Duvall did on Lonesome Dove, for instance.
Yeah. There was one you would have liked to have had, I bet.
What's that?
Duvall's character in
Oh,
Lonesome.
no, man, it's for him. He was meant to play that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see certain people do certain things, and you say, I wouldn't want to even touch that.
Made for him.
Yeah, you know. But I don't really have favorites, you know. There are certain people I like to watch.
Want to do comedy?
Yeah. Simpatico's pretty funny, actually, at times.
Yeah, but I mean in film.
In film. My first attempt was Milk Money, which was out this past year with the film I did with Melanie Griffith, which some of it's funny. It was supposed to be funny anyway. Richard Benjamin directed it, you know. I guess my bent isn't towards comedy, but I'd love to do comedy. I mean, I love the sense of timing on the stage. I work with Marcia Gay Harden, who's a really consummate actress in Simpatico, and we have a real good time up there, because every night it's different, but just the rhythms, and you know where the audience is, where the laughs are coming in. You know, I mean, you're hooked in with each other, but you can't help but feel that wave of energy coming in from the audience. So.
How long is Simpatico going to run?
Just 2 more weeks, just till the 18th.
2 more weeks?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Charlie, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Okay.
Very much. Ed Harris, Simpatico at the Public Theater in New York for 2 more weeks. We thank you for joining us this evening. Look forward to seeing you next time. See you then.